Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Cotter Productions. In this week's video, we're not doing a whole lot. As you would have seen from the little intro, it's pissing down rain absolutely everywhere outside, so unfortunately there's not a whole lot I can do on the cars. In last week's video, the last you guys would have seen is we were stuck in the Beamer in Sydney, 3 hours drive from where we live on a Sunday, so options were very, very scarce. After we put the cameras down and we sort of just sat there for about an hour or two, I ended up going to the engine bay, having a look around and pulling the leads, the coil leads off again, and each one I pulled off I had inspected them thoroughly, and when I got to the third one back, it looked different. Something was missing and I wasn't sure what it was. I looked at the spark plug and sure enough there was this little coil thing latched onto the spark plug. So at some point through the day, probably after the car initially broke down, I pulled one of them off and it pulled the metal jacket or the metal clamp that goes around the spark plug out of the coil. So that's actually what was wrong with the car for the day. It was a real big bummer to find that out. Although being able to drive home and not having to pay $1,100 for a tow car, that was an A+. So yeah, alas, I was pretty bummed with the Beamer, and when I got home I decided, unfortunately because we have a move coming up, we're no longer going to be living here soon, soon-ish, I decided it might have been time to move the Beamer on, because at the moment I'm sitting on 4 cars, 2 32s, a Stagia and a Beamer, and it's just not an option where we're moving. So unfortunately it is time to let the Beamer go. It's probably a good thing that I do it now before I write it off, but not a good thing that I have to sell it, because it was kind of, you know, the car to have to write off rather than writing off a 32. Anyway, yeah, fast forward a day from the drift event, I went out and I replaced the leads in the car, and I drove it around, daylit it for the following 3 days, something like that. Just really put it through its runs to see if it was all good, and it was almost enough to convince me to keep it, but I couldn't. So I posted it that evening, and within 20 minutes I had a buyer who wanted to come and have a look at it. He came and had a look at it, quite literally just at the drop of a hat, it was sold. So I don't even get to film an outro because it was raining the entire time, and although I could have maybe done some sort of outro with it, I was kind of just over it and I wanted to see the back of it. So no more Beamer, guys. The E36 is no longer with us, but we now have the funding to be able to finish the R32. So yeah, that should be good. Anyway guys, that is pretty much it for this week's video. There's not a lot I can really do, like I said, with the rain and all that. I hope you enjoyed the little intro part. Leave a like if you like that portion, and leave a like if you're excited for the R32, and leave a hate comment if you're pissed off at me for selling the E36. I will leave it at that. I will catch you in next week's video where hopefully it's not raining and hopefully we can work on the R32. Should be a good one. I'll catch you there. Bye.